Hi everyone! Today we're going to be learning how to draw a dragon's eye. First, ensure your piece of paper is horizontal. Next, sketch a large oval shape with your HB pencil in the middle of your paper. This is going to represent the dragon's eye or iris. When you're in school, you all write with a HB pencil, so you should have one of these to hand. As you're drawing your large oval in the middle of your paper, make sure you keep some space around the oval. This is because you'll shortly be using the space around it for the scales. Within the dragon's iris, I have then drawn a vertical pupil. Remember, a human's pupil is circular and round, whereas a dragon's pupil is long and vertical. Following this, I drew the dragon's leathery eyelid. I did this by leaving a 2 cm gap or so and drew another oval shape, following the shape of the dragon's iris. Then I drew the dragon's scales around the eye, following the shape of the iris. I did this by drawing a scale at a time until I completed one layer of scales. I then continued to draw scales, building up by layer until the page was filled with the scales. Don't make the dragon scales too small, as your dragon eye will not look as effective. As you can see from my creation, I have the eye, the eyelid, and 4 layers of scales. You might have more or less depending on how large your eye was to begin with. Next, it's time to decorate the dragon's eye. This can be done using colouring pencils or watercolours. I chose to use watercolours with the theme of light green, dark green and turquoise. However, you can choose any 3 similar colours you want. For example, yellow, orange and red complement one another, or pink, purple and blue complement one another too. Firstly, I painted the dragon's eyelid with the lightest colour. As I continued painting layer by layer, my colours got darker and darker, whilst also ensuring the colours blended together. You can see that I began with a light green, and by the time I got to the outer scales of my dragon's eye, that the colours are darker. Here I used a turquoise colour. If you choose to decorate your dragon's eye with colouring pencils instead of watercolours, you will do the same thing. You will choose 3 complementary and similar colours, starting off from the lightest colour to the darkest colour. Make sure your colouring strokes are in the same direction to ensure neatness. Next, I painted the sclera, or white, of a dragon's eye. For a dragon's eye, this is often yellow, gold, blue, green, orange, red or silver. As you can see from my pictures, I began with a light blue, adding a speckle of dark blue to create a more realistic eye. This also ensures the picture looks more real and not flat. This technique can also be done using colouring pencils. I then painted the pupil of the dragon's eye. This is often a dark, contrasting colour, usually black. If you're using colouring pencils, you can use a black colouring pencil to create this effect. Once my painting was dry, I then used a black fine liner, though you could use any form of black pen or a dark pencil, and I drew around my pencil lines from earlier. As you can see, by doing this, it allows the features of my dragon's eye to stand out a lot more. Here are some examples from Miss Scannell's of her finished dragon's eye. On the left-hand side is a completed dragon's eye where watercolours have been used. And on the left-hand side is an example of a dragon's eye where colouring pencils have been used, whilst using the steps within this video to help her with these creations. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and Miss Scannell and Miss Deannis can't wait to see your dragon's eyes. Good luck!